All right, guys. Well, good morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's another Monday in lockdown in Ecuador, and I guess around the world, with regulations slightly changing and relaxing a little bit, especially in Europe, as far as we can read. It's uh, it's an interesting period where countries are making their decisions. As you guys probably know, in Ecuador, as part of my introduction to what's happening here, we're starting this sign traffic kind of regulation now. Is starting today. All of the municipalities in Ecuador have the opportunity to decide in which color they would like to begin with. And most of Ecuador started in red. So we are pretty much in the same situation as it all started in the beginning with the lockdown and very regulated options to be able to get outside. Although some industries are being able to continue doing or to restart or their operations, like construction and some services for homes, like some whatever fixing is needed. So, very limited still, but some progress in terms of what's possible and what's not possible for us all to do. Obviously, in terms of tourism, we are in the same situation, and I think it's going to be for a while, because this not only depends on what's happening in Quito, but it does require a lot of international coordination in terms of our clients' motivation to travel. Obviously, new regulations to be able to move from one country to another, then I'm pretty sure is going to be established really soon. And definitely, and probably most importantly, what's the status on the airlines and their decisions to resume their operations as well. So we have, I think Quito is deciding to stay in the same lockdown status until the end of this month. So I still have some more time to grow my beard and not get a haircut. And at home, everybody's enjoying, so I'm planning to keep it for a while. And Diego, thanks so much for organizing this, man. So jumping now into the Amazon, my favorite region in Ecuador. This is where the tropical magic started 25 years ago. Our venture in the Amazon, actually, we never started our business as a tour operator or a traditional tour operator or a DMC as we are nowadays. We started this business in 1994 because we wanted to be able to prove that ecotourism could be used as a tool for conservation in the Amazon rainforest, especially working with indigenous groups. And the biggest drive at that moment was to help the Waorani people in a remote area of the Amazon rainforest of Ecuador to fight for their rights of land and the possibility to keep destructive industries putting pressure in their territories away from it. And I think we were very successful. For many years we operated. I mean, in the beginning, in the first 7 years, we weren't very successful. It was more of this serious adventure of expeditions downriver, camping and doing overnight campsites along the river, and having these incredible, mind-blowing experiences, spending time with the locals and moving with our campsites from site to site on a daily basis. It was a lot of fun. I used to love that. And then from that we moved, and obviously that wasn't sustainable as a business. We decided to move towards a more established operation that would enable us to provide less impact into the community lifestyle and more positive impacts in terms of a tourism operation, generating income and jobs on a established lodge. And back in the day, that was the Waorani Lodge that we closed more or less 10 years ago due to problems with, funny enough, with an oil company, a Chinese oil company. They made a deal with the local community and decided to change their interest in terms of economical development in their territory towards oil instead of ecotourism. And we decided that we couldn't be part of that and decided to move on. But that all of that, it was my PhD pretty much. I learned everything that we do until today we in the Amazon with the Waorani people. We understood health and safety. We understood complex logistics. We understood how to balance the experience of our clients and their safety, and as well as the respect that the local communities need. And what's more interesting, the positive impact that an ecotourism venture can bring to remote areas. And we apply the same model and of sustainability that nowadays is pretty well-known concept. We started doing it many years ago, and we keep doing it, right, in a different format now, because we don't have our own Amazon operations anymore, but we do support several others, and Diego is going to be talking a lot about them now. So I'm very excited about this region. I'm very excited to be here with you guys today and join Diego on this presentation. And yeah, Diego, I'll give it to you now, and we'll be sharing a little more of our experiences in the Amazon in the next couple of minutes.
Great, Jesse. Thank you. And yeah, it's also one of my favorite places on the world. So yeah, the Amazon holds many secrets, and as you can see now, just the starting slide with this beautiful photo of the caiman and some tabanid flies. So it's incredible to see how the life evolves here and how all is interconnected in the Amazon. So it's actually one of the main reasons why people travel here, because of wildlife. It's a total surreal world. So of course, as you know, we have 4 main regions in Ecuador, and one of these to the east is the Amazon rainforest. Actually, the Amazon, as you know, is a very big territory. Around 9 countries of South America share the Amazon. But what is good about the Amazon in Ecuador is that it's really easy to access. So just 30-minute flight from Quito, or just 4 hours from Quito, and you are in a totally different ecosystem and environment. It's so different from other countries like Brazil, for example, that you have to fly 3-4 hours to reach the Amazon. So that is something really good about Ecuador, and adding the Amazon and as an extension to any Galapagos and mainland tour that you have. Also, well, one of the main reasons to visit the Amazon is the wildlife. It's one of the most biodiverse places on the world, a hotspot of biodiversity. And actually, the Yasuni National Park is a biosphere reserve, and it holds an amazing amount of species of mammals, of birds, monkeys. You can see up to 12 species of monkeys, reptiles, insects, and what is also good about the rainforest in Ecuador is that you can see some big mammals that maybe you cannot see in the cloud forest. In the cloud forest, you can see more birds, but here in the Amazon, you have the chance to see more species of monkeys, big mammals like the tapir, white-lipped peccary. You have the chance to see the scarlet macaws, the black caiman, white caiman, giant river otter. So it's a different experience, of course, from that of the Galapagos Islands, that you can see the animals really close and they don't scare. Here you have to see really careful in the trees. We are always used to the neon lights in the city, but here in the forest it's so different. Everything green, the lush forest, as you can see, the incredible landscapes. So it's a totally different experience to be in the middle of a primary forest like in the Yasuni. So we are going to talk about some of the main regions and spots that you can visit in the Amazon in Ecuador. And please forget about anything now and just let's travel to the Amazon rainforest, where you can find these beautiful landscapes, just relax and take a paddle canoe to this journey. So another reason is culture. Of course, you can have direct contact with the communities. They say that around 11 ethnic groups live here in the Amazon rainforest of Ecuador. So you have Quechua people, the Guarani, Achuar, Cofán, and more. And it's really, really good. And what we like at Tropic, of course, is to work very close with the communities and have the chance to see their way of life in our tours. Another really good reason is there is plenty of activities to do, from hiking in the forest. You have kayaking, you can have visiting the towers, canopy walks. So there is a pretty wide range of activities in the Amazon, and that is good because if you are traveling with family, with people of different ages, there is always something to do with them. I don't know, Jesse, what is your favorite activity when you were in the Amazon?
Sorry, I was silent. I was going to say, Diego, that I think that it's really well spotted what you just said in terms of, well, obviously we always say, and everybody knows that Ecuador is an incredible, tiny little country in terms of diversity and differences, right? It's mind-blowing, the kind of experience and easy access to the different areas, you know, from the Andes to the Amazon and from the Amazon to the Galapagos Islands is really incredible. You can have breakfast in Quito and lunch in the Amazon, and on the following day you could be having dinner in the Galapagos easily, right? So so I think that in a nutshell it says it all about Ecuador, because as you clearly said, there is a lot of Amazon and we share an Amazon with all of the different countries. But the beauty of the Ecuadorian Amazon, apart from everything that you just said, is the access, right? That's key, a key element. And the other thing that I think is very important to keep in mind is that people usually think about Ecuador because of the Galapagos, and anyone thinking about the Galapagos is thinking about natural history and obviously wildlife, because of the fame that the Galapagos has. It's so easy to see the wildlife. Well, a perfect combination for a wildlife enthusiast and a naturalist as our eco-tourists is the Amazon is the perfect fit, right? So we are into the wildlife, you're into natural history. Well, the Amazon rainforest is a fantastic place to have those journeys. In terms of my favorite experiences, well, as you guys know, I'm a very social guy. I love interacting with people. And I think what I loved the most my entire life was hanging out with the Guarani, even though I was completely useless and usually I would get lost in 2 seconds in the forest. You know, just going out there on a dugout canoe and or on a night hike with a local, you know, it doesn't matter if he's a Guarani, which are the warriors of the rainforest, or a sequoia, which are the magicians of the forest, or the agriculture of the Quechuas. You know, it doesn't matter which. All of these guys, they have this tremendous connection with the forest. You know, and to me, and I always said that to experience the rainforest through the eyes of a local, is really unique, and that is what I love the most. You know, is not going out there because we are pretty much useless in the rainforest. You know, we only see green, as you said, Diego. You don't really see wildlife. If you don't have an expert hand holding you and showing you, pointing you to the right direction. But I think that opportunity to experience the rainforest with a local, it's fantastic. It doesn't matter if it's on the river, is paddling, is hiking on the day or the night, or to see the sunrise or the sunset, but it's because everything changes in those different moments in the forest. Even the noises change completely. The different wildlife will wake up at different times. But I think that being able to be introduced to those feelings with a local, it's unbelievable. It's fantastic. That's what I love the most, Diego.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, one of the best I've had. Actually, some of you know me because I used to work for Napa Wildlife Center, and I had the opportunity to connect with the Quechua people with a different, and they have different way of life, of course, and they are so wise in terms of taking advantage of nature and appreciating life in other ways. So I totally agree with that. It's a key element in Ecuador, and in Ecuador it's really easy to contact different. So another aspect is also infrastructure. We have really great options. Starting from the roads, it's really easy to access from the roads. For example, from Quito to Tena, you can be in 5 hours in really good roads in a road trip. And also you find a wide range of lodging options, from basic to luxury ones, and also some Amazon cruises that we are going to see in a bit. So basically, in Ecuador, what we recommend is the northern part of the Amazon. So we have two zones, let's say. The upper Napo, that is the zone of Tena and Puerto Misaguayi. Here, also the access is really easy. You can do it by car, and this is a good place to start exploring the Amazon. You will not find like a primary forest, but you can also have some really good experiences, some short canoe trips. And the good thing about the upper Napo is that you can do shorter stays, around just a couple of nights, and it's also time and budget friendly. And the lower Napo, where is Coca and the Yasuní National Park, here definitely you can find the primary forest, more access to spot wildlife, also more remote places and communities. And here you have longer stays, because the minimum stay here in the lodges are 4 days and 3 nights. That is the minimum, and we recommend even 5 days and 4 nights, so you can enjoy fully the experiences and wildlife. So these are the main places and the ones that we suggest because of the infrastructure and the activities, the services. There are some other places in the north, like the Cuyabeno, but there are some concerns, of course, for the security, being on the border with Colombia. So some people avoid these places. So it's better to go to Tena, Misaguayi, and also Yasuní National Park. Mm-hmm.
I think Diego, it's important what you said. Just to bring back the highlights of your explanation now, and more related to this moment, right? Because for us, it's been always like a no-brainer when anyone is asking for an Amazon experience in Ecuador. We'll always say, well, flying to Coca real quick, couple of hours canoe ride, and you are in one of these incredible locations, pretty much around the Yasuní National Park. You know, the lodges have their own differences, and we might get to find the right fit for each traveler. But I think in general, that will be the Amazon journey for anyone coming to Ecuador, right? But now thinking about this new moment and thinking about the concerns of our clients traveling abroad and flying, going back to airports to do domestic flights, etc. I think there is an opportunity there to explore more and develop further your knowledge of the Tena and Puyo and all of these introduction to the rainforest that Diego said. We've been talking about this for a while, and I think the one highlight is the access, right? We pretty much can drive down to this area in one day, 3.5 hours, you're there. Someone like me with a heavier foot, you can even go faster and get there quicker, but we recommend to go slowly, especially because it's such a beautiful ride down there. You have the dramatic changes of vegetation from the Andes all the way down to the lowlands, which we're talking about going from 4,000 meters all the way down to 300 meters, more or less. So I think that's something to keep an eye on in terms of access, you know, driving, you know, go on a private vehicle down there and on a more, you know, controlled environment, thinking about COVID and all these new words and operational standards we are now taking into consideration. But also combined with what I said for the ones who came to our webinar last week, when we were talking about the journey in the Pacific coast, where you have all of these dramatic changes as well of vegetation from the rainforest areas of the coast in the north, of the Chocó region in the north, and then going down south to cloud forest, and then to dry forest, and then to mangrove systems in the coast. This applies to this journey down to the Amazon, where we're pretty much living from a city like Quito, driving up to one of the highest points close to Papayacta, where you have these incredible hot springs, a national park, and spectacle bears, and then driving for 30 minutes, you're in this incredible cloud forest, and then a few more hours, you are down there in the Amazon. So I think this is really key, and I'm glad that Diego included this portion here, because I think that we will be doing a lot of trips down here in the next 18 months, especially because of these new limitations. I believe our clients will be, inquiring, private trips. This is a very easy, affordable way to do a private trip. It will be very interesting to charter Napa Wildlife Center, but it's probably not on the price point that people will be willing to finance. But I think it's easy for us to create a more private experience down here in this area, where we can find the small lodges and create our own thing, right?
That's right. And yeah, here we have an example of what we can do if your passengers are trying to avoid more flights. So you can just start in Quito, as Jesse said, going through Papayacta, a beautiful place, 4,000 meters above sea level, and then going down, you're going to see a dramatic change in the landscape from the mountain forest, cloud forest, until you reach the Amazon. So that is a really good option. And aside from just going to the Amazon, you have the chance to get to know more about, for example, the chocolate trail, where you can see the process of the cocoa bean until it becomes the chocolate. And here you find the best chocolate in the world, the Arriba cacao variety. And next day, there is the chance to visit some local communities in the Guayusa Trail, know more about their customs, their way of life. And for example, the Guayusa, this is amazing. It's a plant from the Amazon that has high levels of caffeine, or theine in this case. And the Quechua people usually drink Guayusa before going to hunt or fish, because they believe that if they drink Guayusa, snakes won't bite them. So it's not only interesting, but a mystical experience to share all of their beliefs in the Amazon. And it's also possible even to do some adventure activities like rafting, that we can include also in the Hatunyaku River. So there is plenty of options, and as Jesse was saying, we can have more control of the conditions if we are doing a private trip from Quito to Tena. So it's a really good option for private trips. Also, really good hotels along the way, like Papayacta, this beautiful lodge in the mountains, where you find hot springs. You can just relax and be near the Paramo ecosystem. Also San Isidro, that is a really nice reserve for doing bird watching. So it's really comfortable, but also a beautiful place to see more of the wildlife that is here. And you can also see some pictures of the Hamadryade Lodge, a really nice lodge option in Tena. So that is just an example of what you can do in Tena. Of course, this is going to be a secondary forest, because it's closer to the city. And if you want like the deeper Amazon, the deeper experience, we totally recommend flying to Coca, where you can start your journey generally in a motorboat, first through the Napo River. The Napo River is one of the main affluents of the Amazon, the big Amazon River, one of the main tributaries to the Amazon. And this is how you start your journey. So it's incredible to go on a motorboat through the clear waters of the Napo River, and then see the change in the color of the water until you reach the streams in a dugout canoe. So that is how the experience starts. Just for you to have an idea, generally all the lodges offers 4-day, 3-night tours, and of course the first day you arrive around, let's say, 2 p.m. at the lodge after all the flight, the transportation in the river, in the stream. Some of them are near some lagoons. So it's an incredible experience. You start enjoying from the moment you ride the motorboat. So that is the first day where you can feel all the jungle experience from the boat, and also see some of the wildlife while you get to the lodge. And the second day, there is a variety of options, ranging from going to climb the canopy tower to see more of the wildlife, the monkeys, birds. And most of the tours and the guides, they always carry some big telescopes so you can see the animals really clear. It's always good to take some binoculars as well, and so you can spot the wildlife that is near from you. And day 3, generally, you have a visit to the local communities. So there are some really nice projects that are managed directly from the people from the Quechua communities, and some other private projects, but they also include this visit to the community. So you won't miss this experience, and it's really a must. And day 4, you have also the chance to visit some incredible places, the Parrot Clay Lakes, where you can see hundreds and hundreds of birds, up to 6 different species of parrots and parakeets, that they come every day to drink water and also lick the clay, because they need the minerals for their body. And here, just some
Diego,
of the main options.
Just go back one slide. Just again, some context, right?
Yeah.
When we're talking about these overland drives, or Amazon safaris as we call them, from Quito down to Tena, we're talking about a diversity of experiences and adventures. We're talking about an overland drive. We're talking about moving from one lodge to another every one night or every 2 nights. It really depends on the client's interest, right? But this is more of a journey that we are putting together, collecting pieces of different ecosystems and experiences according to the client's interest, right? So that's kind of the introduction to the rainforest, into this area of Tena that we drive down from Quito, right? That's one experience, and I think is really important for you guys to understand, because it's very easy to see the differences, right? This is very accessible. You're pretty much driving into the hotels, parking lots, and from there you're going to their nature reserves and doing your bird watching, do your forest hikes. You're having, like Diego said, your agricultural kind of experiences with chocolate, Ecuadorian chocolate and cacao that nowadays is very famous, apart from other medicinal plants, as well as some other soft adventures, I would say. Even though we're talking about rafting, we're talking about class 3, so it's easy, pretty much floating down rivers. So all that's cool, but as you guys see, it's a combination of different style of excursion. So a lot of fun for families, right? It's very active, so you can do lots of different things. And I really like this slide that Diego put together here, that talks about the Amazon lodges in the lower Napo River in the Yasuni area, because everybody talks about what is the difference between the lodges, right? And I think we can talk about the difference between the lodges, but I think the most important thing is to understand that all of these lodges have more or less the same characteristics in terms of surroundings, right? All of these lodges are located in these beautiful oxbow lakes. So you have the Napo River in the middle, and then you have oxbow lakes along the river, which is pretty much fed by the same river and the rain, and you have these beautiful lakes, right? All of these lodges have the luxury to be able to find develop these lands to create these little huts on the edge of these lakes. And that's unbelievable, right? That's one characteristic that is very important to understand, that all of them are more or less the same in that sense. The other thing that most of these lodges have these big towers, 30 to 40 meters above the canopy, so you can actually see the canopy, because the beauty of the canopy is that in different altitude of this canopy, different things happen, different wildlife lives, different kind of trees grow in different areas. So you're going to see the canopy of the big ceiba trees on the top, but you're going to see trees in the middle, you're going to see birds in the middle, you're going to see the birds who live on top. So it's really amazing to see how diverse it can be only in one tree, right? So all of these lodges have developed these beautiful towers. And then the communities, as I said, in this area, the cultures that live in the lower Napo River are Quechua. The Waorani live in a completely different area. The other nations live in much remoter areas of the Amazon. In these specific areas, you have the same indigenous culture, which are the Quechua. All of the lodges kind of, in some cases, belong to these communities. In other cases, partner with private initiatives. But the cultures are more or less the same. So the experiences will be more or less the same. You're going to learn how to cook whatever dishes they do locally, or learn a little bit about the music. Usually, these are beautiful women associations that run the visits in the community. So that's very cool, because you're helping, the local community, but you're also empowering women that usually will be handling the handicraft side of the business, while the men are more doing the guide role, the motorized canoe role, etc. And then to finalize, and I think that's the huge benefit that Ecuador has, is to have the Yasuni National Park, which is one of the most biodiverse areas or national parks in the world, right? So that's also a luxury that all of these lodges live in the surrounding areas of these incredible national parks. So I think those are very important elements for you guys to explain to your clients, okay, what kind of experience you're looking for. And then you can go to more specifics. Okay, so let's talk about now what type of accommodation you would like to have, right? And then Diego will give us a brief on our favorite ones, I guess, and we can talk a little bit about the specifics of each of these lodges that live in this area.
That's right. There are many options, and most of them, as Jesse said, are along the Napo River. So we have Sunny Lodge that is managed by the local community, and they also have a small cultural center, their own Obox lake, and really good service. So yes, you aside from enjoying a nice trip to the Amazon and experience, you are also helping a whole community develop in the middle of the rainforest, and also protect their environment. So that is something that we have to take into account, as well as the Napo Wildlife Center, that it's a most luxurious option. Here you can have some suites with jacuzzi, some panoramic suites that you can see directly from your room to the lake, sometimes just the caimans under your room. Of course, they also have the canopy towers. And the good thing about Napo Wildlife Center is that they are totally inside the national park, and the parrot clay lakes are inside their territory. So some of the lodges, you will see that some of them charge extra to visit the community or the parrot clay lakes. In this case, everything is included, because everything is in their territory. Aside from Napo Wildlife Center, they also have another option called Napo Cultural Center that is right in the community where the indigenous people live. It's a more basic option, and it's right by the Napo River. So that is a different experience. And the good thing about Napo Wildlife Center is that you really go deep in the forest to reach the place. After you get to Napo River, you need at least 2 more hours in the dogger canoe to reach the lagoon where the Napo is located. So it's a fantastic place. And
so here, these three options, Diego, right? So these 3 options: Sunny Lodge, Napo Wildlife Center, and the Cultural Center. These 3 operations belong to local communities, right? So
that's right.
If you guys or your clients are willing or interested in supporting the local community and have their holidays, well, these will be your go-to choices, right? Napo, as Diego said, is the rock star of the Amazon lodges in the whole region. I think it's probably the best Amazon lodge, including the Peruvian ones. But so I think it's a fantastic choice. We send a lot of people their way, but we really love Sunny Lodge as a more humble startup, right? The community is a bit different in terms of infrastructure. It's a bit more hands-on. It can be a little bit more challenging. I guess we need clients that are a little bit more tolerant to participate and ask questions and, go about their ways at the lodge. At Napo, you have, almost like a Swiss operation, right? Everything is served, everything is prepared. When you're thinking about something, whatever something is already there, right? So those are kind of the key elements. I think is one important thing to say about Sunny is that it belongs and is completely independent to Tropic, but Tropic does have a special relationship with Sunny. We really love the place, and we believe that there is a place that deserves our extra effort and support. We run a summer camp with a research organization every year. For the last 4 years, we have a 7-week back-to-back 20 researchers going to a campsite that we develop only for them. And we are developing a range of documents, and we are trying to help the community understand the value of their forests, right? So we're doing mapping of the territory. We're doing inventories of different types of species, going from reptiles to amphibians to fishes to monkeys. So we're doing a range of things that are actually very exciting. We can send the guidebooks for you guys to check out. So keep in mind, right, that when you're sending clients to one of these places, you are supporting the local communities beyond, just the classic way that tourism supports a local community with jobs. They actually own the places and run the places. Sorry, David, I didn't want to interrupt because I know you're going to jump into the private operations. They're also amazing, but they have their own uniqueness. But I think it's important to highlight the fact that these 3 operations are our favorite, not only because they're incredible locations and beautiful wildlife, but also because there is something behind it that makes worthwhile to support it, which is being community owned.
That's right. And that is the good thing about Yasuni, that you find really, really good options managed by the community and with different service levels, let's say. Sunny is a really good option if you want longer stays or if you have groups for researchers. So we can do something really nice here for researchers, students, etc. So it's going to depend more on the type of client you have. If they are looking for more comfort in their stay, Napo Wildlife Center is a good option. And we have some other private projects like Sacha Lodge. And the good thing what we like about Sacha, it's they have a nice canopy walk, so you can be practically walking among the trees and the clouds and seeing different species as you walk by. As you can see, really, really good accommodation services. So all of the lodges have their own charm. And the good thing is that here you can also find giant river otters. Actually, some of them left the lagoon of Napo Wildlife Center because giant river otters, as they became adult, they search for new territories and they have populated some other lakes around. And finding the giant otters in these ecosystems are a signal of a healthy ecosystem. So it means that there is plenty of food in the lake, of fish in the lake for them to feed, and that is something good because you can see that the habitat is healthy. You can find the apex predators like the anaconda, the caimans, and also the giant otters here. And
yeah, I think such a lodge, Diego, is taking infrastructure / playground to the next level, right? So they have these incredible towers as well as all of the other lodges have, but they have this mind-blowing canopy walk built several years now. They also have a range of bridges on lower altitude in order to explore the mid altitude forest. And I think they just brought a crane as well to bring people up on a basket, right? So yeah, Guillermo and the Sacha Lodge folks are really taking the equipment developing to the next level. And I always thought the Sacha Lodge was also fantastic for groups, right? I think the way they manage things. Napa Wildlife Sunny, you know, it's more like an FIT family environment and destination. This is a well-polished machine, perfect for group tours. So, and people really into exploring with these different accessories and not only hiking in the forest. So I would say that those are the highlights of this operation here.
That's right. And now let's go to La Selva. It is a really nice Amazon lodge. And this one, I think they have like more modern facilities, as you can see, the jacuzzi in your room, a spa, even you can have some yoga classes here. So you are also going to do all the walks in the forest, the tower, visiting the clay lakes, the community, but this is like the additions that you can have at La Selva, some really good gourmet food as well. And Jassy actually was just a couple months ago here, so maybe you can share us more.
Yeah, man, we love La Selva. My wife abandoned us, that's pretty much the truth. She went to Mexico with her family to celebrate her parents' anniversary, and I was left with the kids. And it was a long holiday of whatever, I don't remember which one. And I decided to surprise my kids going to the Yasuni, because I always left a deep Amazon exploration for the kids until they grew up a little bit. And it was really incredible. Things that I love about La Selva was the access. I found it very, very easy to get there compared to, you know, Napo. You have this long paddle to the lodge. I think for my kids, for example, it will probably be too much until we get there. But I felt that La Selva was very easy, you know, just the paddle, even the paddle that can be long to get to these lodges. It was easy to get to La Selva. And I mean, and the amenities, right? It was very modern. We did some yoga classes with the kids. They have the little jacuzzi there. So I try to, for example, not do a lot of hikes. So we do kind of a hike in the morning, and then we stayed around the lodge with the little ones, having fun, swimming in the lake, go fishing, doing some yoga, and just playing, right? So yeah, it was fantastic. Apart from the fact it was my last trip after this crisis. So I would love to be there now, actually. But yeah, so I felt like compared to the others, I felt like this one is a little bit more boutique, you know, boutique style. I think there is no real luxury in the Amazon. I don't think you go for the luxury to the Amazon, honestly. That's my personal take on it. But this is definitely the amenities, the setting of the rooms, having the massage area, the spa area, the jacuzzi area, the yoga. So I think this whole wellness and well-being vibe on the way that they have the whole thing set up, it's very appealing for very specific segments. And I also thought it was very, very family friendly. So I love that. It was very easy to move. I felt very safe with the kids. So yeah, I think it's fantastic the way the whole thing is set up. So I think, yeah, for a romantic escape, for family, it's the perfect lodge.
Great. Yeah, I think this is a great option for families as well. And we have some off the beaten path destinations and lodgings that are kind of new in the market, and they are an alternative for the ones that we already seen. So, for example, we have Mandaripanga, that is a camping style experience, as you can see, and it's comfortable, but again, it will depend on the kind of client that you have. It is more adventure. This is perfect to be right in the forest, practically, right, just side by side with the trees. protected, of course, with these small cabins, and you have the chance to do activities like kayaking in the river. Also, good food, a little bit more traditional, and we also have El Edén Lodge. So El Edén is also a really good place for groups. As you can see, it's a little bit more basic, and also run by a local community, Quechua community there. So these are lesser known options, but still you can consider them, as this one is, let's say, the most extreme one. There's the option also to camp with the Waorani people. So here you have less infrastructure, of course, generally, and people do camping in some communities like Bameno community or near the Tiputini River as well. So those are some options for people that is not looking for comfort, but for this specific interest in getting to know the Waorani people. And as you know, Waorani are really famous worldwide, and there are still some uncontacted tribes. So of course, these are the contacted groups, and it's a totally different experience that Jassy can tell us more, of course, as he was in direct contact with them.
Yeah, I was half Waorani for a while. So just to clarify and maybe go back a little bit in terms of, we're talking about lodges, the other lodges, right? We're talking about La Selva, Sacha, Napo, Sami. These are well-established, all-inclusive lodges where you can get it's pretty clear what you get there, right? It's you get there, you go and do your trip, 4-day trip, etc. These are more tailor-made adventures, right? And these are places that are community-owned. I would say that the order will be El Edén, Mandaripanga, and the WOW experience in terms of comfort, right? El Edén is a little notch down in terms of sunny. El Edén is further down the Napo River, by the way, and both Mandaripanga and the Waorani are towards the other side of the Yasuni. Is not actually on the Napo River and the lower Napo River. So in terms of Mandaripanga reminds me of the Waorani Eco Lodge, right? For the ones who knew me back in the day, it's a more comfortable way of doing camping. It's not glamping. I don't think we have any glamping in the Amazon of Ecuador, but this is comfortable camping, right? When you see a raised platform, you see thatch roof, and you see a bed, we're talking about comfortable camping. But this is still, you know, a community experience. You don't have a lot of infrastructure. This is a remote area. The communications, everything is, you know, is a bit more flexible. I would say this is, you know, for the ones seeking for an adventure, but not necessarily a cultural experience. It's more like the adventure of the Amazon with the locals, right? And the Waorani experience, just to clarify, there's a question in private here on the chat room. This is not the same community Tropic used to work with. This is a separate community. This is in the lower Shiripuno River, only accessible by flight. And this is a community that approached us. All of these guys approached us in the last year, more or less, right? They were saying, well, Tropic, now you don't have the Waorani College. We'll love your support to develop this experience with us. We haven't been promoting them aggressively, but now we feel is a moment that people will be looking for more adventure, right? We're all gambling here, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen in the next couple of months, but we will be, we imagine that a lot of more intrepid travelers will start coming, which will be the first ones coming. And they might be looking for this kind of experience. And I think this is a great opportunity to also help out these local communities who are interested in developing their own community tourism venture. So if you have someone really looking for adventure, if you have a film crew who wants to make whatever documentary about the Amazon with locals, we can easily set up any of these operations as soon as, you know, we are open for business again. So yeah, I think it's important for you guys to know that we have more of these extreme off the beaten path experiences available, and communities eager to enter into this ecotourism business as well.
Yeah, That's right. And finally, the last option that we have in the Amazon, there are a couple of river cruises, the Anaconda and the Manatee that was renewed recently. So this is a different experience, of course. Here you can have itineraries ranging from 4 days to 8 days, and it's good for people that likes cruising, of course, the comfort of being on a cruise, looking the environment, but not staying right inside the rainforest. So this is, I was saying, a good option for the people that likes cruising. You will also have daily activities, so they will stay in different places to visit the communities, to do hikings, to visit the parrot clay lakes. You can also do some kayaking, but you also have different amenities in the ship. You can see the jacuzzi. You can just enjoy if it is not raining outside, and good food as well, like different style of food. Here you can find from traditional food up to sushi style food. So that is also something that you can have to take into account.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree,
mm-hmm.
Diego, that I mean, the cruises, you know what's the deal. Well, I guess we all don't know what's the deal now with the cruises industry, but this is still
Mm-hmm.
very boutique, very small. I don't think it classifies as the cruises that are heavily criticized and on the spot now due to this global crisis we're living. These are remote operations still. As you probably know, Raul, for years, he's one of the pioneers operating in the Amazon, and he's betting on this way of exploring the Amazon, right? So in terms of practical explanations, in terms of these boats, right, they cruise down the Napo River. So they are pretty much covering the same areas where the lower Napo lodges are. And they usually, sometimes they are using the same infrastructure belong to the hotels, because the oxbow lakes are the hotspots for the wildlife, right? So that's where you want to go to see the wildlife. So they would usually go and use the towers of Sunny Lodge, for example. I always bump into their groups there, and they will see the same communities along the river, plus a few things they probably have exclusive on their own, right? So this is, as Diego said, for people who want to have a more passive journey. They probably want their comfort. They probably want to be disattached from the forest. They can be threatening for people afraid of little creatures. So I think it has its space in the market and is of interest for certain type of clients who want to see it, but not be immersed in the forest, right? So it's good to have the choices for you guys to put out there for your clients to choose.
Great. Yeah, I think we have covered most of the main options that we have available in the Amazon, and just a couple of suggestions. Of course, when you come to the Amazon, is a warm environment. Some people say that there is the raining season and the rainer season. So there is always going to be rain in the Amazon. Always good to have a waterproof jacket, some light clothes. Long sleeve is better because of the mosquitoes, some repellent, a flashlight for the nocturnal excursions, sunblock, of course. And currently, well, there is no mandatory vaccinations to visit the Amazon, but you have to check with your physician as well. And regarding the luggage, there is no limit. Actually, the normal limit of a commercial airline, 23 kilos, and generally there is no problem. If you're going to a lodge, they take care of your luggage in another boat, and it will be in your room. So there is not too much problem about the luggage you're carrying to the Amazon. So also for the excursions, most of the lodges and the cruises, they provide with rubber boots in case it's raining or the terrain is wet. So you don't have to take your own. And that's it for now. You can, of course, drop us an email if you have any question and specific requests for this product. We are always happy to help. And I think that's all, Jesse. Here you can find our emails, and you can write any doubt to us.
Yeah, fantastic, Diego. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for joining us. I think it's a very specific area, but you can see you have multiple choices to experience it. I think it's not bad to have all of these choices, especially now that there will be a lot of different things happening in terms of the ways people will be traveling. I think it's important to keep in mind that the same Coca airport has access by road as well. We don't know exactly what's going to be the deal with people trying to fly less, even domestically. If they already will have to fly to the Galapagos, I don't know if they are going to be willing to go twice to the airport for a domestic flight. So we will be seeing a lot of developments in terms of road access to the Amazon as well. And we are already prepared for that. I think that's good to keep in mind. I think it's good to keep in mind the difference between the two or three types of Amazon journeys we're talking about. You know, the extreme adventures with local communities, the lodge-based ones in the Lower Napo in the Yasuni National Park, as well as the overland drives down to Tena for these more like Amazon safari style experiences. And of course, we're here to help you choose what is best for each specific case. As you guys know, our rock stars at the sales team are always ready to help you figure what's best. And we have definitely our favorite ones and the ones that we believe are safe bets in terms of a traditional wildlife experience that is, for example, Napo Wildlife or Sunny. But I think it's important for you guys to see the whole landscape of options. So that's it, guys. I really hope you guys have a wonderful week. Things are changing now in the world in terms of we're being able to get a little bit more outside. And we really hope that we can start hearing from you for your bookings for later in the year or next year. Thank you so much, Diego, again, for organizing this, Tad, for accompanying us, and everyone that is taking some time to start their week with a lot of energy, right? Let's keep the energy until the end of this another week in lockdown here. Un abrazo.
Gracias, Jesse. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and hope to see you next Monday on our webinar we're going to talk about Cotopaxi and Otavalo trek. So if you want to learn more about the Andes, stay tuned for next Monday. Okay, awesome. See you. Cool. Thank you, Jesse. Bye-bye.
Bye.